You know the drill. Before I pass it off, let's take a quick look at the risk disclosure. Very important stuff to be aware of. Futures, foreign currency, and options trading contain substantial risk and is not for every investor. Now, many of you know Ferenc has 10 years of experience working in banking on a large IT project for a major US company. He is an early adopter of Bloodhound and has been designing and building systems for customers since 2011. Apart from running Remek, he is also visiting lecturer at the Central University or Central European University, where he teaches trading strategy design in the Masters in Finance and Masters in Business Analytics programs.
So welcome everyone. It's my pleasure, my great pleasure to be here this year as traditionally every year now, part of Shark Week. Now this is Shark Week 2019, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this short webinar, whichever group you might belong to on the right here. I'm going to list them all. You can read them yourself. And it's my pleasure to greet you. But if I may, I'd like to dedicate this session to another group. Group number 5 would be on my list. And if I can go to the next slide. Yes, that would be the group of the developing trader. And we've all been through it. If you think your chart looks something similar, if it's a little confusing, and if the trading business that you're running has a sloping equity curve and other problem surface, then I would like to make sure that this little webinar and information will be useful for you. So I've been thinking about this. I've been talking to a couple of traders and customers in the past month, and that got me thinking, and that led to this little presentation. So I hope you will find this useful. The first part will be just a little bit of theoretical, but then we'll jump into how we can use, actually, in my opinion, one Remek product and one Remek service to solve the problem that I'm going to describe. So let's jump right into it. I'd like to start by revisiting some of the basics, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page with me. Feel free to ask me questions. If you find this a little strange or new, or even if you don't agree, by all means, please feel free to and ask me questions, and I'll be happy to try to do my best to answer them. Okay, so, and I also want to share with you what worked for me. That's one of the main points today, what I discovered that would work for me. All right, so let's start. Recently, I've been thinking about what the ultimate problem might be in trading. And I try not to go back too far and ramble on too much, but I'd like you to follow me on this little train of thought. The agenda would be to describe that problem, and then I hope I'll be able to offer a solution and give you some details about the solution, probabilities, edge, and sizing, and stuff like that. And then we're going to look at how I, in my own practice, am utilizing this solution, which involves our own product and the service. And last but not least, of course, is being Shark Week. I'll be happy to offer some specials and answer also the questions that you may have. So what is this problem that I'm referring to as the ultimate problem in trading? Well, many years ago, I thought I would live the rest of my life on a ranch, or on a farm, rather. I had 2 dogs, as you can see, some extended family, and I thought I'd be just off. And I didn't realize how urban I am, actually. So a couple of years later, many years later, I'm back in an urban center in North America here. But going back to this little thing that I remembered, I took actually a dog training course. So I was trained to train dogs. And bear with me for 1 second, I'll be very brief with this. But the way we learned to train dogs was by random rewards, which means if you train dogs, or if you have a dog, I'm sure you know this, you don't give a reward to the dog each time the task is performed. Then that would just, the dog would just get very fast and very lazy. So how we do this with dogs is by offering random rewards, rewarding randomly. Then the dog will train, it will have a lasting effect, because every time the task has to be performed, the dog will anticipate the reward. and perform the task to best of its abilities. So far, so good. When I started trading many years after this picture was taken, I slowly dawned on me that I'm being the dog here. And actually, it's a little bit worse than being the dog. Because if you think about it, when you're the dog, it's either there's a reward or there's no reward. So no reward is kind of neutral, but it's not a punishment anyway. In trading, it's even worse. You get rewarded randomly and you get punished randomly. Imagine a learning environment like a piano class where you're trying to learn the piano and the teacher gives you random rewards and punishments totally randomly. That's a very difficult learning environment, would lead to nowhere, I'm afraid. So in trading, basically, this is a world of random rewards. We do exactly the right thing. As an example here, you follow your trading plan to the letter. You do have a good trading plan. Still, some of the trades that you will perform will be losers, and you get punished and rewarded seemingly randomly. Then you do the wrong thing, even terrible things, and you can get punished and sometimes, tragically, I guess, rewarded handsomely for doing the wrong thing. That's a very, very wrong or bad educational experience, actually, to be rewarded for something that's not the correct thing to do. So bottom line, this is a learning environment from which it is very difficult to graduate successfully. It's much more difficult than people realize. And all of us who are in it or have been in it, we know exactly how difficult it can be. So the question is, what can we do? And that's what I'd like to shed a little light on today. So let's move on. Okay, I want to tell you about patterns and what moves prices. We are here technically motivated directional traders, as it were, where mostly, I would assume, me included, are not focusing on fundamental economic factors and balance sheets and earnings reports and stuff like that. We are technical traders. We look at the chart. We think past price action will give us clues as to future price action, and that's how we try to make money. And that's fine. That's what technical trading is all about. But we have to think about, for 1 second only, what moves the price on any market. And when you think about it, it's basically buying and selling. Uneven buying and selling pressure is what moves the price. If buying and selling pressure is evened out, usually the price just fluctuates in a very, very narrow range randomly. So what moves price is the imbalance in the market. Now, when we look at the chart and we look at the market through charts, that's a whole other issue. It could be, that's just an interface between us and the market. But when we look at the chart, we look for patterns. But what else can we do? We look for patterns and we try to discover patterns and trade them successfully or profitably. Well, the problem is, though, that as you can see here, not every market imbalance will create a pattern on the chart. We all know about smart, big-pocketed traders or market participants, so to say, who do their best to do what they do without leaving a track. No line in the sand. So we don't even notice as they perhaps accumulate a certain instrument or a certain asset. At the same time, we see patterns on the charts, and we know that the market is to, well, a large degree, some degree anyway, that we can argue about how much, but to a substantial degree, the market moves randomly. So obviously, some of the things that we see on the chart will be just random, meaningless noise. Some of those things might look pretty, like a pattern that we are looking for. But the point is that we're never sure that if there is a market imbalance behind that pattern. You might look at the most beautiful triangle or volatility compression or pullback or double top or whatever you want, and you never know if it's there randomly or if it's there as a result of a real imbalance in the market. Of course, you're looking for real imbalance, but there's no way of knowing. So what gives? Well, you'll see that these sets or areas overlap, and the market imbalances would be marked in green. Some of them will stay or remain invisible for us because we just don't have either the information or the software or the tools to see it, or they do it so smartly that we don't see it. It doesn't leave a mark on the chart. And then there are patterns on the chart, some of which, a subset of those patterns, will be very useful ones because they are a reflection of market imbalance. But there will be some random ones which mean nothing. Now, the thing is that we have no way of separating the two. There's an overlapping area marked here in yellow where the actual pattern is a result of a real market imbalance, and those would be the trades that we are eager to trade because they have the highest probability of success. So as you can see, it's a very fuzzy situation. There's no perfect and easy solution, and there's no way to separate these signals, let's say the patterns on the chart that are a result of a real market imbalance, and the patterns, other patterns on the chart that they might look just as good, but they're on the chart randomly. And if you have doubts whether random movements can create beautiful looking patterns, then just go to remek.ca, a website. There's a random chart generator, and randomly it will throw up charts to you. You'll see beautiful support resistances and pullbacks and fibs and whatever you're looking for, they'll be there. So random movements can easily create lots of patterns on the chart. So I hope I was able to describe the difficulty and the severity of the difficulty that we face when we trade. It's a very ambiguous environment with no clear answers. And that, for most of us human beings, this is a very uncomfortable situation to be in, and it's difficult to learn to deal with it. So the question is, what can we do? Well, the first thing, I'm going to talk about three things here as to what we can do, and then we can put those three things together and create a practical application with our tools, with the Remek tools that have worked for me for over a year, but more about that later. All right, so first ingredient. First of all, however difficult it is, we as humans, we do not think in probabilities easily. We are not good at assessing risk. We are driven by emotions and intuition and that kind of stuff, like normally we are. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that in trading, we have to modify that look a little bit, and we have to learn to embrace probabilities and thinking in probabilities. I hope you're with me on that. If there's any comments, just stop me and let me know. Let me see if there's any messages here for me in the meantime. I don't see any. Okay, I've opened the chat window. All right, sorry about that. So let's go on. So the first thing, learn to embrace probabilities. Be comfortable in thinking with probabilities. It's a difficult environment. The first thing we have to do to build up stamina, as it were, to start making numbers our friend. There's no escaping this. We have to do the math. I've spoken to people in the past month since I got back from Europe, and I was a little sad on two occasions to hear that not much time was spent on doing the math. And then, well, the likeliness of unsuccessfulness, if there's such a word, it just becomes more and more likely. So we do have to do the math. We might go into the details on how to do that exactly. There's a couple of things that help us, and let me cut to the chase right here, and I'll keep it brief. There's a little math behind it, but we don't really have to worry about that part. But what is important to know and what is good news is that we don't need to know the future to make money. You know, sometimes you might get the answer from other people who do not trade. So how do you make money if you don't know where price is going to go? Well, the answer is I don't need to know, because I'm thinking in probabilities. So that's one thing that will be of big help to us. And also, if you, or including me actually, I was thinking of how could we separate those fake signals from the real signals. Fake meaning those patterns that are not backed up by real imbalances, and other real patterns which are. And there's no real way of separating them. And the good news is that we don't have to. We don't need to. We're just fine without separating those signals, and that's another very good piece of news. Okay, so what follows from the above, in small letters, I made some notes with because I just wanted to make sure that I highlight this and I don't forget about it, is that how me personally, it helped me to realize this imbalance thing and the pattern thing that we talked about on the other slide just 5 minutes ago. It follows from the above that if you follow your rules and if you have a stable, rock solid trading plan, let's suppose for 1 second that we do have that, then basically, since the results of each trade is a random distribution, randomly distributed results, then it means that I'm not responsible for the next trade, for the results of the next trade, assuming that I followed my rules. If I didn't, that's a whole different story. But let's suppose that we have. So I'm not responsible for the results because I can't know the result of the next trade. What I can know is what's the result will be after 1,000 trades. But what the next trade will be, what even the next 2 or 3, I'm totally not responsible for it because how could I know the future? That's a big relief. It really helped me to put myself in that frame of mind, and the quality of my work increased tremendously in my experience. Now, that also means no need to beat yourself up about a loser. No need to think you're a genius if, let's suppose, you made a good trade, because it's just standard business. You open shop and the business runs as normal, and no need to think we're an idiot or a genius, every 2 minutes and change our opinions every 2 minutes, depending on a random result. So that should help to be or to get into that flow zone so inducive of good trading. And calmness, the calmness will result, the resulting calmness, right, will lead to better decisions. That's what I have found in the past year. So I'll be very interested in hearing your input or experience on this. All right, so let's move on. What's the second? Right, so the edge. Well, that's a very important thing. The edge, whether it's freaking or not, it's very, very important. Without an edge, we have no chance. The edge is the mathematics behind our trading plan, is the probabilities, the probabilistic result of our trading, the sum of our trading activities. And it's very important to have an edge. Now, there are many ways. I made just some few notes here on the chart. Let me have a quick look. Right, so there's many ways to check or double check or triple check if you have an edge. There's a couple of ways which are less useful. Let's say they're wrong ways. There are some ways which are pretty good, and I can think of one or two that are very good and advisable. We have done at Remek the one which I think is the best way to do it. But of course, that doesn't mean that's the only way, and doesn't do that we haven't done anything else. But at the culmination of all the testing will, in my experience, it's good if it leads to what I have done, which I'll tell you right away. So what we did here, and that's why you see these graphs and the numbers and the Remek Momentum Pro system, exactly was on Independence Day, US Independence Day, July 4th, 2018. So practically exactly a year ago, where we launched in-house, we launched Remek Momentum Pro, the trading project. It was secret for 9 months. It was not, we didn't come out with it. I wanted to know what's going to happen. So we started trading with Remek Momentum Pro. And after 1 year, we have placed 1,102 trades. That's as of yesterday. So we have a couple of more today. Anyway, so practically 1,100 trades, 3 contracts per trade. Those of you who may be using our premium service or have been in touch with me may know this. Or also, if you follow the blog, sometimes we blogged about this. And then you see an equity curve, which is not drawdown free, far from crisis free, but very capable of recovering and being robust in very different market environments over 1 year. We heavily trade the US indexes and the futures contracts. So you can imagine if you look back on the ES this year, there have been some very quite dramatic movements. Wouldn't call them easy trading environments, and we dealt with it rather successfully. So by all means, if you have an edge and if you don't want to use our edge, which I'm going to propose as being the edge or one possible edge, by all means, whatever you trade, doesn't have to be a Remek product. I'm seriously, I mean it when I say, just make sure that you have one. If you have one, that's good for you. We can offer one if you don't have one yet. The famous saying in trading, let me just try to remember, there are a lot of edges in the market. The irony or the paradox is that all of them are very hard to find. So you can spend this edge basically, it's a combination of, let's say, 4 or 5 years of work, and came to me about 3 years ago, more crystallized every year. It's really crystallized now, and I'm not afraid to come out publicly with it. But it may take a long time to develop an edge and to really put things together. So anyway, if you want, you'll be welcome to check this out. So let me move on quickly. The third one, important ingredient of the solution is sizing properly, sizing the right way. And what I mean by that is that I've been talking to people, very positive conversation, but sometimes I notice that some work was not done. And one thing that sometimes the trader doesn't do is do the sizing calculations. So if I may, let me just spend 1 minute. If I click on this link, we have a sizing calculator on the website, and I'd like to recommend that to you to check it out and to use it. And let me just go through it quickly in 60 seconds and show you how this works. So first of all, you enter numbers in the yellow field. I forgot to mention that you would have a trade register. We have one on our website. You're welcome to use it. It's downloadable, or you can create your own. The bottom line, as you trade, your trading data should be entered into register, so you always, at any point in time, you know your statistical data that you will have to, that you monitoring, and that's the result of your trading system. Now let's suppose we have that, and these are the data, the numbers in the yellow fields. They'll be coming from your trade register. So let's say, easy example, let me just change these numbers. Let me just say we've done 2,000 trades, and let's say that we have 1,100 winners. The system will calculate the results for you. We have a system whose accuracy is 55%. That's fine. And then, and here's the beauty of the thing, the number of winners in a row, so the likely winning streak, will be calculated for you. So you can rest assured, sooner or later, if you do this, if you trade this system long enough, you will have 13 winners in a row. I know it sounds unbelievable, but statistically, that's possible. Conversely, you will likely to have a row of 10 losers, a losing streak of 10 if you trade this system long enough. And it's in red, and this is what we have to be mindful of, and this is where I'd like to spend just 1 minute. So bear with me here. Let's suppose that we may be trading different instruments. The ES is 1250, 60, whatever, gold is 10. So if you trade different instruments, you can calculate the average tick size of your traded instruments. For simplicity's sake, I'll just pretend that I've been trading the ES all throughout the 2,000 trades. So I'm going to keep my tick size at 1250. And let's say I'm trading a strategy that needs a 50 tick stop. So the result is that, first of all, I'm going to, if I trade 2 contracts, very easy, I'm going to risk $1,250 per trade. And I'm happy to see that possibly sometime in the future, I might have a winning streak of 13, which might give me this result. But what I really have to be careful about is the number and the dollar value of my losing streak, which is in red. So you see, we have to count with the probability or the possibility of having 10 losers in a row. 10 losers in a row trading the system would be $11,899. Now let's suppose that my margin that the broker is $6,000. So I'm going to change to 8,000. Whatever it is, just enter a number. And here it says the maintenance margin plus the largest possible losing streak is $19,000, right? So the $11,899 plus 8,000 is $19,000, almost $20,000. That would be the amount to trade that this system would need to survive the worst possible impact, the worst possible scenario. Again, it may never happen. Maybe you trade it for 10 years, it will not happen. Maybe you trade it for 2 years and it will happen twice, because we don't know how trade results will be distributed over time. Now, we have a multiplier here, a multiplier of 2. That's just an internal rule within our company. We always multiply this result by this number by 2. And we just say because we want to sleep better. If you follow this or not, it's totally up to you. Mathematically, this is the amount you need. Psychologically, as human beings, we prefer to multiply this by 2 or at least 1.5. Well, whatever multiplier you use, there will be a result here. In this case, the 2 is used. So the result of this thought experiment is that you need $39,000, almost $40,000 account to trade this system. And then sometimes I meet or talk to somebody, the best intentions and good experience and smart person, everything's okay. And then the account might be like $7,000. And then I show this chart to him or her, and we talk about the numbers a little bit. And we talk about the fact that it's very difficult to perform this difficult task in this already very difficult environment if there's an extra pressure on us because we're basically oversized. So I hope you followed me on this. It's very difficult. It's very important to size correctly. Now, of course, not everybody has $40,000. Well, there is a solution for that too, especially recently, as you know, now even the ES, let me just try to change this to 125, right? So there's a micro contract now, and you can say that, well, I'm going to trade the micro contract and my margin is not $8,000, but $800. Now suddenly a $4,000 account is enough to trade this strategy, except I'm going to do it with a micro contract, and that's fine with me, either for my personal development or oops, sorry, I have to switch this off. My apologies about this phone. Okay, sorry about that. So the point is, you're welcome to trade it with a micro contract. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's perfect for traders development. It's perfect to have a relaxed mind and a good positive attitude and a lot of feelings of good trades and success. And maybe later you'll be able to, to size up with the micro contracts and eventually start trading the real ES contract in this given example, or anything else that you might be interested in trading. So there is a way, there's an easy way now to size up, but it's important to go gradually and to do the math properly. Okay, so much about that. Now let's continue. All right, so the edge and the size and the probabilistic thinking is that's supposed to be in this first line. And if you think of trading as a three-legged chair, which would not stand if any of the legs were missing, of course. We can think of trading, if you think of trading as a three-legged chair, what would those legs be? Well, one is everything we talked about so far. Let's call it the edge. So the probabilistic thinking, understanding the difference between patterns and imbalances, being comfortable with that knowledge, and proper sizing. Then, of course, we need capital to trade. That's also part of sizing it correctly. That's not something Remek can give you, unfortunately, so you have to bring your own. BYOC used to be in the 80s. And skills, which is something, we can help you build it a little bit, and I'll tell you how. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But basically, even if we guide you, it's something you have to build. It's like muscles. You have to build them yourself and for yourself. All right. So this is how it's going to look, the three legs of trading. Once we have them all, then we can move on and put a system together. So let me just walk you through this. On the left, we have the correct thinking, correct sizing, and the correct math. And then we have a system. In this case, I'm going to propose Remek Momentum Pro, a system that you can see the end result. We've been trading successfully, profitably for a year. So that's the system with the edge. And we're going to have a little practical demonstration soon. Now, the third ingredient would be a service that we've been providing since April 2. That's Remek Premium. Those of you who are subscribing, they know. I'm not going to, well, I'll wait for questions, but very briefly, it is a service. Basically, we're sharing with you via email in real time our trades, our analysis, and how we see the market. And then we trade the market with the Remek Momentum system, or Momentum Pro, to be exact, but the differences are secondary in this case. So basically, Remek Premium is a service. Think of it as a signal service, but we look at it as something more. Part of our website is open for premium subscribers only. So there's a section, a few pages where we provide extra information that's not available in our public blog, for example. And we share the ideas and our trades, and I'll show you examples in just 1 second. And what we have found is that all this leads to what I call here, very much aware of the legal disclaimer, that this will give you a reasonable chance of success. So, of course, there's no guarantees. Nobody knows the future. What I can tell you is that this is the past. Now, but it will give you a reasonable chance of success, in my opinion. And again, if you decide to replace this middle part with your own edge, then that's fine with me. Sure, no problem. You will still need the math. There's no escaping that. And you will probably be interested in an equity curve that goes up, by and large, with acceptable, at an acceptable regularity. Let's call it that way. Okay, so moving on, I'd like to show you. Let me just move back. So we're talking about. I'm going to show you a few examples of Remek Premium. So basically, Remek Momentum Pro in practice and in real time. Let me start with today. Remek Premium subscribers received this today. This is the ES, right? At 8:10 this morning, where we got into a trade. This was basically, you can call it a trend continuation or breakout trade. We can talk about terminology later, but just by looking at the chart, I guess I'm pretty sure you know exactly what's happening. So we entered the trade. Email did go out, a heads up before and once we're in the trade to the market, the Remek Premium subscribers. This is our trade. First target, is the previous high, and 2 R's. 1 R being, let me just mention this briefly. 1 R is the distance between our entry and our stop. That's 1 unit of risk. And 1 unit of risk or the previous high, whichever is closer. I'm talking about our trading rules now, but that's okay. And then we have a second contract. I can manually modify this, of course. And then we have a runner. So as you can see, 3 contracts, One of them is a runner, so it's not shown on the chart. And this is that was at 1:30 p.m. and this is at 3 p.m. exactly. So here's the timestamp. This is real time. And let me just show you something, okay? 1 second. So let me show you now at this time what happens if, let's say, you were a subscriber to this service. So I'm going to bring my email program here, and I'm going to send out a email of the ES. I'm quiet because I just typed something, and I'm pressing OK, and watch this. So if you do subscribe to this service, and this is what will happen in real time. Let me just click refresh, maybe it went to all mails. I should already have it. I hope it's coming soon. Anyway, I hope to be able to show you the situation now and how this whole service works. So I have another computer on my desk, the trading computer. I can send out any JPEGs or update. And let me just, oops, sorry. Let me just check this email. It should be here already. Okay, well, anyway, maybe it went into my spam. That's not possible. Give me 5 seconds to check this out. No, it's not in my spam. Okay, well, anyway, I'll show it to you as soon as it comes in. I thought it'd be faster. I'm going to send it out again. I'm pretty sure it went out. Okay, this is a thing about live webinars. I tested this a few times, so it should be working, but don't worry, I'll show it to you as soon as I have it. All right, so the bottom line that this is real time. These JPEGs go out in real time. This is the second example. That was on July 19th, 8:42 a.m. Maybe you can see it. This is a CL this time. And we identified a short, which started to work pretty well during the morning session. And this chart actually gives me, the one on the left, gives me a good opportunity to highlight something to you, for which I think having the Remek Premium service is a very good idea. But in the meantime, my email just arrived. So it took me about a minute. Here's the email. This is the email, managing position. We are managing position on the ES. This is the situation as of 2 minutes ago. Let me just open it. Okay, so this is the ES now as we speak. This is what the subscriber receives. And whatever information I want to add, I usually type it in. There are the trade management rules. And so that's the whole thing. It keeps subscribers up to date as to what we do with Remek Momentum, how we trade with it. And the idea would be to bridge the gap between, well, our profitability and potentially their profitability, which is usually lower. So my purpose with this whole service is to bridge the gap between developing traders and already profitable traders and make the journey a little bit shorter in time and effort. All right, so I wanted to highlight something here. There is on the 15-minute chart, there is a long signal here, an arrow. That's a long signal in momentum. And still you see that just a few minutes later, just about 15 minutes later, I send out a mail for a short trade. Now you may be thinking, this guy, what is this guy doing? His system just yielded a long signal, and now he's telling us to go short. Well, my miscalculate a signal. That's basically not a human. It is a mathematical calculation. When this happened, the computer correctly calculated the values and gave us a signal. That's fine. But I am, as the human, I am here to decide whether that pattern for me looks like a meaningful pattern or looks like something behind which there's no market imbalance. Or maybe there's an imbalance just the other way around. That's one thing. The other thing I want to share with you, the pattern failure is an important thing to be aware of. This is nothing but a pattern failure. The longs have lost this usually, or it looks like, not usually, but it looks like in this case, this price is going to sink a bit. So that was my analysis. At 8:42, I sent it out. There was a little textual explanation in the email about what to do, but the email, or the JPEG always looks the same way. There's a circle and there's an arrow and there's a formation that makes sense to all traders, technical traders. And here we go at 11:30. Those who took this trade, they were in a short, in a pretty good short on the CL. Oh, that's not the ES, by the way, sorry. That's the CL already. Okay, here's a CL, give me a second. Okay, this is our biggest fish this month. Right, this was a good trade. An outlier, in any case, so this doesn't happen every week. And I'm the first one who knows that. But nonetheless, it happened and we knew it was coming. So check this out. This is actually Sunday. Part of our, the Remek Premium is open every day. So Sunday, 6 o'clock, the market opens Eastern time. And 6:10, we do our work and we identified a potential breakout trade on the SI, which is the silver. And the second trade, which this part, you know, hasn't happened yet at that time. So we were here, we were just about to break out. We correctly identified that this is likely to become a bigger fish. This is likely to hit this level first. And we had this in place. This is not in hindsight. This was taken, this was here already when price was still down here. Anyway, July 14th, 6:10 p.m., the email went out. Those of you who subscribe to the service, you know, because this JPEG is in your, in your inbox. And this JPEG on the right is also in your inbox because that, when that second target was hit about 3 days later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, 5 glorious or 6 glorious red or green candles in a row. Doesn't happen too often on SI. And of course, when we went into the trade, nobody knew this would be this dramatic. So there's no way of knowing. But that's how it turned out, and we were happy to be in it. Now, this service is round the clock. Usually there's some peak times, like the Sunday night analysis is standard practice after 6 p.m. And usually there's a 7 a.m. Eastern time update and whatever the market commands during the day. And then usually there's a market summary like 3, 4 p.m.-ish when the market has settled down. So that's how the service worked. I hope I was able to show you a couple of examples of how this service works. And moving on, I'd like to show you with humility, but also a certain degree, healthy degree of pride, and just a feeling of good work done. I'd like to show you the past 4 weeks. So Remek Premium came out on April the 2nd, 1, 2, 3, 4 months. We've had some tough times, definitely. Trading is always tough. There's a database that you're welcome to check out. Actually, this is independently audited here by someone in Toronto. So we have a third party who can warrant that these results are correct. Anyway, this is what Remek Premium did so far between April 2nd and today. I'm pretty happy with it. All right, now let's look at the practical application. Also, so that this presentation will not drag on too long or won't take advantage of your attention for too long, I'd like to mention that tomorrow, I know it's a long day and we have excellent presentations at 12 noon and later in the afternoon. I'd like to throw in quickly a quick technical workshop at 9:30 tomorrow for Remek Momentum Pro users or those who are interested. So please check this blog page later tonight. There will be a link there to join us tomorrow at 9:30, and we can go into more detail about the technicalities of the system and the installation and any technical questions. Today, I'd like to keep the focus on the actual job, which means the job of trading. All right, and before I come to that, I'd like to show you NinjaTrader, because now I'm gonna show you how the system looks, what it looks like. This is the single instrument workspace. Those of you who know or who've checked out the documentation on the website, the Momentum Pro documentation, some of this stuff may be well known already. But let me just try to sum up this system in a nutshell. So we trade a methodology that's proven is a strong word, nothing can be proven, but evidenced by decades of data in financial instruments, liquid financial instruments. We've done the testing mostly on US data, so US stock market and indexes, futures instruments, liquid products. All right. We are heavily focused on pullback trades, which means the first thing we want to do, we identify trends, and then within those trends, we identify potential pullbacks. Now, on the website, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, there's several pages about just the pullbacks. Pullbacks is a whole very interesting separate discussion about pullbacks. That can go on for hours and hours, because it's a very interesting area, and it's not as easy to trade as many people think. But it's possible to trade it well. And just to scratch the surface, there's some embedded difficulties in trading. For example, in trading pullbacks. For example, when there is a pullback, let me just start by this. Let's say this is a pullback area. Since this is a sloping channel, we don't know how far we're going to slope. There's no way of knowing. That's one difficulty. Sooner or later, obviously, we have to call it quits. So we have to decide that, okay, this is not my pullback anymore. So I'm just stop being interested. Where exactly is that point? That partially comes with experience and doing it thousands and thousands of times for 10 years. That's part of why I'm offering the Remek Premium service, to help other people not to have to spend the 10 years that I have looking at pullbacks. So that's just one of the difficulties. The other difficulties might be, just off the cup, is, well, everybody just expects a very easy pullback like this. Well, it's not that easy, because this pullback, for example, looks to me like a complex pullback. A complex pullback has two legs. You go long, and the first thing that will happen, it comes back and maybe stops you out. And a large subset of pullback is like this. We have to know this is completely healthy. Actually, moves out of a complex pullback tend to be stronger than of simple pullbacks. So this should be good news. Still, many people trade this the wrong way. They put their stops here. They think you can trade this with tight stops, and in reality, you cannot. So one thing I'm teaching people, put your stops outside the opposite Keltner. Otherwise, or don't do it. So, but to place it very close to where you entered, just doesn't work over a large sample size. Of course, there will be times when it works wonderfully, but if you do it 1,000 times, you will not have money, or you will not have more money anyway. All right, so we can have another conversation about pullbacks, but this is basically what we do. Now, the other thing is a characteristic of the system. As you can see, I'm looking at time charts now. You can structure this any way you want. You can make these volume charts, tick charts, range charts, minute charts. You don't have to. I have the 15-minute on 240, which is a 4-hour chart, which is one of my preference to be trading on, actually. And I have a daily for context. If you trade higher time frames, probably this would be the monthly or the weekly chart. This might be the daily chart. If you are going the other way and be a really, really intraday trader, this might be a 5-minute chart for you, and this could be a 60-minute chart for you, or something similar. The main thing is that proportionally, you set up these charts. Let's say each should be 3 times, 4 times bigger than the one before, just to keep it sensible. But anyway, the system is very flexible to be set up any way you want. All right, so my focus. Then the next thing is that these charts have a name. So this is the precision chart. Precision chart because this is where I'm going to fine-tune my entry. This is where the actual entry will occur. This one here on the upper left corner, I'm calling the trading chart. The strategy will not be running on this chart, but that's the trading chart. That's my trading time frame, actually. So here is where I will be identifying opportunities, and then let's say I'm going to try to fine-tune, look at the precision chart and find the best possible entry with the help of my strategy. So that's how trading occurs. And the higher time frame, as you can guess, is for context. So let's say, I don't know, let's say I'm in an area like this. Of course, thinking back, everything is easy. But let's say I'm in this obvious pullback area on the ES just a while back, a few months ago. I will not try to make short trades on a smaller time frame if I'm in this pullback zone. That's something I've never found to be profitable. So if I have a bullish bias on the daily chart, then I'll be looking for long trades on a smaller time frame and fine-tune the entries on the precision chart. So that's how it goes in a nutshell. I'm sorry, I'm just checking Keith's comment. I didn't know it. Yes, the email has arrived. It was just a little slower than usual. Okay, so that's the momentum system. Now, the thing is with every system that's so-called semi-automated or to some degree automated system, in our system, thanks to the sophistication of Blackbird, our trade management is consistently automated. So if I open up the order setting, there's, let me just see, yes, here it is. So this is our standard 3-contract Blackbird file. You can customize this any way you want, of course. We can help you do that if you're not, well versed yet in Blackbird, or you can do it yourself. It's very easy. It's not, so it's an open file. You're welcome to open it up and customize it any way you want. The strategy file itself is protected, so you cannot open that up. And that's the one that you will see here inside. Here we go. Inside Blackbird, and that's our Bloodhound protected strategy file. Basically, that's the Remek Momentum Pro algorithm. That's the engine, the brain behind what we do. Once we're in the trade, and if you know Bloodhound and Blackbird, then of course you will know this already. Basically, Blackbird takes care of everything after we enter the trade, and Bloodhound takes care of everything before we enter the trade. That would be an easy explanation if somebody asked me what's the difference between the two. So Bloodhound will calculate the entry signals and the exit signals, the hard-coded part of it, on top of which, once you are in the trade, once the signal arrives, how you want to participate, and if you want to participate, whether with market orders, limit orders, and how you want to manipulate your stops and trailing stops and targets and all that stuff. And if you want to include scheduling or money management, risk management rules, that's all open to you thanks to this wonderful product called Blackbird. So it's highly recommended. This runs on top of the Remek Momentum Pro algo. All right, so how does Remek Premium, the service and the emails, the real-time signal service, as it were, to simplify this, into the picture? Well, the way it comes into the picture is that in any automated system, many signals will be, we know that already because we talked about patterns and imbalances on the market and that they're not the same. Consequently, when you calculate signals algorithmically, many signals will be less than ideal or outright wrong. But the point is that when the signal arrives, remember, when this signal was calculated, we were here in the life of the universe. So we had no information from the future. It was not, it hasn't happened yet. It didn't happen yet. So when the system calculated the value, that was the best value possibly that could be calculated in this pullback system. Of course, information kept coming in, and we ended up being in a sideways market for a while with some tests, retests, and stop running, and of course the later what we expected would happen, but not exactly the way we expected it to happen. Well, we didn't have any expectations, but it didn't happen the easy way, and it usually doesn't happen the easy way. So the Remek premium service comes into the picture because based on 10 years of our experience and working heavily with the system over a year now, we are the ones who can guide you which signals to focus on, which way to trade, how to translate, let's suppose just a very easy example. Let's say I trade the 4-hour chart. Fine. Let's say that you don't trade the 4-hour chart, you trade a 5-minute chart because of other preferences or account size or maybe work schedule or lifestyle or physical location on the globe, on the planet. Any number of reasons you trade a 5-minute chart. Very good. I can help you to translate this area into trades, into profitable trades on a 5-minute chart. And that will go out to you in an email in real time, usually with like 5, 10, 15 minutes heads up time. So usually there's time for even a coffee before we have to act. I may still trade it on the 4-hour chart, and I may say that to you in the email too, but I will give you very exact information on how to translate that trade into a smaller time frame and how to trail it properly. The trading rules, Michael is asking a question. Sorry if I'm losing my voice. Looks like I'm not used to talking for an hour. I'll try to keep it short. Oh, it's been an hour already. Give me 1 second. So Michael is asking, how do you manage the trade? I hope I answered it. I just talked about it a minute ago. Let me know, Michael, if I haven't in enough detail. So basically, okay, cool. So basically with Blackbird contains the management rules. Now, one thing, in my own Blackbird file, and that's the file that comes with the product built in, I do the calculations in ATRs. You can see that this is in ATR. Everything is in ATR in my code, which means it has certain advantages. If you change this 15-minute chart to, I'm not gonna do that now, but if you change it to a tick chart or a 5-minute chart or a 30-minute chart, because everything's calculated in ATR, it's self-adjusting. Your Blackbird file is beautifully self-adjusting to the chart. That's one thing I really like about Blackbird. All right, so you're welcome to change it to some other measurement units like tick, for example, or even dollar value, but I wouldn't advise it because then you have to fiddle with the settings each time you change the chart or each time you change the instrument that you're trading. Let me look at the Yes, in my own, let's call this the default Blackbird file. Again, you're most welcome to customize this to your needs. You can trade 50 contracts if you want. You can create contract sets actually where you increase the number of contracts in a certain set. So there's a whole lot of probabilities. And I'm sure everybody knows Shark Indicators has an excellent YouTube channel where there's a lot of information and all the details about Blackbird and also Bloodhound. So you're welcome to delve into this much, much deeper than I'm going to now. But if you have questions, and especially tomorrow in the technical session, I'll be happy to go into these settings and explain any of them or all of them, and why I did it the way I did it. But that's not necessarily the best one for you. It's open, and I did it this way because I do want you to review it. Actually, I expect you to review it and customize it to your needs. And if you find that this is the way you want to do it too, that's fine too. If you want to change it, that's also good. All right, question. It's self-adjusting before the trade. So in NinjaTrader 8, the strategy cannot be changed when you're in a trade, after you enter the trade. This is, right now, you see, actually, I could even make it full screen. So this is Blackbird. It's running. There's a strategy. Blackbird is nothing but a strategy. Remek Momentum Pro is nothing but a strategy as far as Ninja 8 is concerned. But once the strategy is on the chart, you cannot change the settings on the fly. What you can do is, well, you can take off the strategy from the chart, change the time frame. For example, do it like this. Change the time frame to 5 minutes or 1,000 ticks or whatever you want, and put the strategy back on. Oh, I screwed up my candles. I'm going to put it back to 15 minutes. But, and let me just bring back I think that was the one. Yeah. And then you can so now it's a good time to demonstrate. So now I'm putting back the strategy on from scratch. So here how it works, double click on Blackbird, and I just have to, it's already on because I saved it as a default. I just have to enable it, and it will take 30 minutes or so. It depends on, I forgot to check how many days I have on the chart. Try not to have too many days on the precision chart. It makes NinjaTrader's life easier, but now it's being calculated. So hopefully the strategy will be on the chart soon. Any questions so far? So self-adjusting in a way that when you decide what chart you want to trade, set the chart first and then put on the strategy. But if you, let's say you open up another chart, let's say you also want to trade the same strategy on a 4-hour chart for some reason, or any chart for that matter, if you put the strategy on the 4-hour chart, which is what I'm doing now, bear with me 1 second. So now I'm putting the strategy on the 4-hour chart. Here we go. Same strategy, same file. And if I click OK, I'm not going to because I want to continue talking and proceed. But if I click OK now, the same file would be wonderfully placed on the 4-hour chart with the stop and the profit values exactly adjusted to that time frame because of the ATR itself adjusted. So I think I explained it to you guys in enough detail. So let's see. Can you manually override on one position and keep the other 2 positions automated? I think you can. Maybe Keith would be a better person to comment on this if it gets too technical Blackbird-wise, but as far as I know Blackbird, you can, yes. So you can, when you have 3 contracts on, you can get out of one contract, take the money, let's say. You can even do it, I'm just thinking of one possibility. If you have a DOM open, you can just change this to 1, and the current strategy, you can remove 1 contract on the DOM. I think you can also do it on the chart, maybe if Keith, you can comment maybe now or later. As far as I know,
it creates trades similar to any other strategy in NinjaTrader. So you can move the flags yourself, and it'll let you take control, and you can close out of an OCO order set and leave the others going. I can't think of any specific restrictions on that behavior. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Keith. Okay, thanks. So it's great news. I usually don't do that. In the spirit of complete consistency, I hardly interfere with my settings. So I try to make my decisions before I enter the trade. This set of rules is so sophisticated, let's see. So here's a set of trailing stops. Here's a more complicated set of trailing stops. If you have downloaded the trial, you see that each contract is set up as smart as I could. I'm pretty happy with these settings, but of course you can fiddle with these endlessly and find the optimal solution for yourself. The point is that once I'm in the trade, I let Blackbird do the stuff mostly. If the price works with me in my direction, that's good. Then Blackbird will trail it based on ATRs, and I'm completely happy with that. There's always one runner, so if it goes like 1,000 miles, you know, never turns back, that's fine with me too. I'm just gonna trail it and get stopped out whenever. And if the trade doesn't work and goes against me, then the two things will be at work at all times. And it's important to know. One is the built-in disaster avoidance algo that's built into the Remek Momentum Pro algorithm. So let's suppose, worst case scenario, I'm in a trade and I faint when I fall off the chair. I would not lose my account because there is one point where I'm taken out of the trade. It's a big loss, but the account would not be blown. So that's like a disaster avoidance algo. It's in there. Hopefully will never have to be applied, but it's in there. I simply didn't want to release a product that doesn't have it. Let's put it that way. Everything else will be, is customizable and will be handled by Blackbird. So even other bad things that can happen to us when we're in the trade, namely that the trade goes against us, will be handled by Blackbird and will be taken out of the trade when I have decided, of course, previously in the code, when I set up the code, that this is the point where I don't want to be in this trade anymore. So there's a point, it's well defined, I'm taken out and I move on. And like in tennis, as I always say, it's always the next ball. The only ball that counts is the next ball. So that trade is done and I move on. But I'm confident in knowing that if it doesn't work, I'm taken out as best as I can. And if it works, then I go with it to the max as much as possible. And that's all of that is programmed into the code beforehand. So I don't change it on the fly, because I recognize the fact that when I'm in the trade, just like all of us, I'm emotionally liable to be influenced by factors that I was not influenced when I wrote the code. All right, so let me read. There's some comments are coming in. Let me try to catch up on these. Hi, Tony. And hi, Gabriel. Let me answer Gabriel's question. This is a Keltner channel. So as you can see, our charts are very minimalistic. There's just a couple of indicators, namely, there's a Remek MACD and there's a Remek RRR that we call. More about that on the website, or if you ask me, I'll go into it. Otherwise, all our charts look exactly the same, and they've looked the same for 3-4 years in this product. And it's very minimalistic, and believe it or not, that's all we need. So yeah, the blue line is a Keltner channel, yes. And I don't even know, oh, we have a cloud here, which is just a version of a linear regression calculation. The thickness of the cloud is supposed to indicate the strength of the trend. So let me just put this full screen so I can show it to you. The thickness of the cloud indicates the strength of the trend. And watch this. These two signals come in an environment where the cloud is very thick. So if you trade with me, this is a 4-hour chart. This is where we aggressively go in. There's the arguments are stacked up for us, and all indication just points us to a long trade. So the signals arrive. Other signals may be less favorable. Now here, the cloud is already turning, and it's also 1, 2, 3, 4th signal. So I'm not pushing the 4th signal usually. We end here, we enter in no man's land. And then here, again, a widening cloud might give you confidence to do this trade. That depends on other factors like, have you done enough trades that certain day, or are you interested, or do you have the money to do it, whatever. Or you might have other open trades already on the market that would prevent you to stack up more correlated risk, for example. and other factors. So very simple chart, and I can't tell you how much I love it this way. All right, so let me see. Tony has a question. Sorry, Tony, if I missed your question. I'm trying to read it now. Give me 1 second. Okay, right. Thank you for your question, Tony. So, all right, let me try to explain this. We have, and this might cause, I recognize this might cause a little confusion, but hopefully not too much, and hopefully I'm able to set things straight here. So we as a company started 10 years ago. Our very first product was, and it's still there, was a Renko-based product. We worked with it for about 5 years. It's called the Remek system. It's such a classic. If you've been with us for years and years, then you would know this. If you're new, then let me tell you now. So we were working with that system for about 5 years. It's called the Remek system with the article, the Remek system, and we don't want to change that name. We can change that name. It's out there. Thousands, not thousands, but several hundred people definitely are using it today. And that's just what it's called. And it's the Remek system. It's Renko based. We can have another session about just the Remek system. It's worth it. It's a very capable product. We have a lot of material on it, publicly available online on YouTube and elsewhere. This system that we're talking about today is called Remek Momentum. So first, no article, no the, they just called Remek Momentum. And this is what we're looking at now. It is not restricted to Renko bars, very similar in methodology. So we didn't really invent the wheel again. This is a continuation of the Remek system of our classic methodology, which was also heavily rooted in trading pullbacks, by the way, except it was on a Renko bar. It has a lot of followers, and I continue to like Renko bars. And everybody knows, I mean, Shark Indicators have been on SI Pro Renko since it came out. And so there's nothing wrong with that. This is another iteration. This is a more flexible system. First of all, it's not tied to Renko bars. You can use it. You can use it this on the Renko bar and any other bar type. And it continues to be heavily focusing on pullback trades and market structure and momentum trades. Momentum meaning price moving out of a channel. That channel may take the form of a triangle or as a parallel line. So we just think of them as trend continuation trades, TCT, trend continuation for us. I'm not really concerned if the shape is a triangle or a whatever. It's secondary to me as long as I know what I want to do. Okay, so Tony, did that answer your question? So it's two separate products. Yes, there are, to cut right into the middle of it, you're asking me if there are special deals. Yes, there are special deals. I'm going to show you the website in just 1 second. Please remind me if I forget. But there are special deals. If you are an owner, if you own the Remek system, the original product, there I can offer you a very good price, especially during Shark Week. And we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you'd like to have Remek Momentum as well. Definitely. There are two deals on the website in the shop already. Okay, so you also have an MA envelope. Gabriel, what do you mean by this MA envelope? Moving average envelope. What do you mean by that? So when I look at my chart, I see a blue line. That's the Keltner channel. That's all I see. And I see two indicators below. One is a Remek MACD and the other is a triple R. Triple R meaning Remek relative returns. So I'm waiting for Gabriel. If you'd like to type in something and clarify, please do so. Otherwise, let me read. Okay, so daily chart. Okay, let me look at the daily chart. The cloud, here's the cloud. Yes, no, okay. I think you mean the shaded area, right? Well, the shaded area is very simple. It's just the area inside the Keltner, just for visual purposes. You can see that, so this Keltner, the blue line is 2.5 and the shade is 225. That leaves a little white area for me to see when price actually goes inside, is about to break out from the Keltner channel. It's just a visual thing. It's not a separate indicator. It's part of the Remek Keltner. Okay, let me see. Okay, any questions, please, while I'm looking at the chat box and the question and answer? Or can we move on? Okay, while some people might be typing, let me just show you the other workspace. So Remek Momentum Pro comes with 2 workspaces. I know it's no big deal. Anybody can save a workspace. So the point is not the workspace, but still, I'm here, so I'm going to show it to you. This is the multiple instrument workspace, which we keep open. You can, depending on the size of your monitor, you can stack up 3, 4, 5, 6 instruments. I just put on 3 so I can demonstrate the way we work. That allows me to look at, so now, of course, it's vertical. So this is here the daily chart, ES. This is ES 4 hour. This is ES precision. English is 30 minutes. So higher time frame, confirmation chart, trading time frame in the middle, and the precision chart on top. Same thing on the NQ. I can change the instrument easily. So as you know, I can put it on the Japanese yen, and then all 3 charts change. You know this already. So that allows me to quickly review and check out any instrument I want. This gives me an opportunity to just to mention our super duper Remek scanner inside the market analyzer. This comes with the program. It is part of Remek Momentum Pro. And of course, if you connect it with, let's say, what color? Let's say red. Then if you click on the Japanese yen, then this will, of course, change to that British pound. Anything you want, you can easily change it to that instrument. So this also gives an opportunity to give you just a 1-sentence review of how you work in the morning. So I grab the first coffee, I look at the market analyzer, and I look at the setups. These come from the Remek Momentum Pro algorithm, the setups. And the signals, if there's any signals. Right now, there are no signals in the market's closed anyway. So we have a setup on the Japanese yen on the 4-hour chart. And that setup means basically, let me show you, that we have a long signal. And as you can see, we're in a pullback trade. Well, a rather difficult, complex pullback. So we don't know what's going to happen. But at this point, the system, probably because we haven't really broken this level yet, the system still regards this as a pullback trade and gives me a green setup for the Japanese yen. Where are we? 4th line. So I look at the setup, I see a green. I want to look at the Japanese yen in detail. Then I can just click on the name, or if I set this to, I know I don't need to go into this. This is Ninja 8. So if I want to look at the 6C, I can look at the 6C, the actual chart, very quickly. And then if I formulate a plan, so how do I want to trade this? What am I going to do in the next 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour? Then I'm going to go to the single instrument workspace, and hopefully I can switch quickly and start executing my plan. Then the emails will go out to the subscribers and so on. So here's the single instrument email workspace. Okay, there's a question. Right, Gabriel is asking if there's a difference between using candlesticks or OHLC. No, not at all. No, I like OHLC because often I can see the pullback areas better, and I'm not really concerned, especially on the little chart, about the color of the candle. You see, as you can see on my 240, I still don't have the color of the candles. I tend not to be really interested, but I can switch anytime. So if I do want to see or have another visual impression, as I work, then I can change it to candlesticks any minute. All right. What else did I want to tell you here? So let me show you the specials. So here's the deal. And then I'll show you a couple of things on the website as well. But here's the deal. So you can start thinking about it and also ask me questions if you want. And we're going on to 90 minutes almost, so I'd better wrap it up slowly. So Shark Week 2019 specials. Premium, normally $149. Let me show you the website. Give me one sec. Okay, here we go. So here's our website. If you click on Market Intelligence, of which Remek Premium is a part of, then, okay, if you click down here, so here, Shark Week, normally $149 per month, and now you can have it for $89. There's only one restriction. You can use the $89, that's a lifetime guarantee of VIP package. You can only use it once. So if you subscribe and for the $89, if you choose to cancel anytime in the future, you can't sign up for the $89 package anymore. But everything else is up to you. By the way, let me mention the Plus package is very, very humbly priced package, and that's basically just the same as Premium with a 1-week delay. So it's not, obviously you can't trade real time with it, but all the educational materials and my explanations and all the material will be available to you with a 1-week delay. That's a tremendous educational resource for $29 a month. So I highly recommend it. And you can always choose to graduate to a higher package. And in case you're wondering why this is $149, well, you just have to look at the equity curve and these months. It is $149 because actually it's very humbly priced. All these trades that we do. If you notice, we don't really trade very small charts. I have this, just some, call it intuition or impression or data-based experience that the smaller the chart, the higher the noise. So I tend not to go below 15-minute charts and keep the 4-hour chart in my focus. Thank you, Gabriel. You're writing to me in Hungarian. Much appreciated. I hope I answered the question. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that this service pays for itself. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So here's the market intelligence. This week, it's only $89 per month. And while we're at it, let me show you the shop and our products. Let me start how it was all those years ago. So this is the Remek system. This is the Renko-based system. I'm just showing this to you to give you a complete overview. We do have a special on the Remek system during Shark Week, but this webinar this system is not in the focus of today's webinar. So this is the Renko-based system, Renko-based. If you click on Remek Momentum, then this is the system that we're talking about today. Remek Momentum as opposed to the Remek system. So I hope it's all clear. These two are products. The market intelligence is a service, and the Remek Premium is inside that market intelligence package. All right, so when it comes to Remek Momentum Pro, let me describe briefly the 3 iterations or editions of the product. The focus of the presentation today was the one in the middle, Remek Momentum Pro. That's the one that works with Bloodhound and Blackbird. I must mention for completeness' sake that we do have a version which we call STR for strategy. That's a bare bones Ninja 8 strategy, no bells and no whistles and no risk management, money management, just a very simple file. But that doesn't need Blackbird or Bloodhound. It runs directly on Ninja. So for completeness, and it's priced accordingly too, because you might think of it as a little overpriced, but it has, anyway, that's when I priced it, I just had to make some decisions. But Momentum Professional is the one that has everything that you will need. And STR doesn't have anything that Professional doesn't have already. So how is Pro different from the standard edition, you might ask? So let me just highlight these three things. The Market Scanner Pro is a very sophisticated tool here. Let me just go back here just 1 second. You can put 200 instruments inside this. I didn't do it because that would slow down the system a little bit, but by all means, you're welcome to select all these available instruments in Ninja and put it on your list. And when you sit down to work in the morning or whenever, you can sort this very easily. See? So just by clicking on the column, you'll know instantly where to focus in the morning, first thing in the morning. So that's what, this is the Pro edition. So that's part of the Momentum Pro package, the Market Scanner Pro. Then we have a chop filter. Let me show that to you here. So for example, just a minute ago, we looked at some areas here. There will be some areas, there will be no signals. Choppy areas, the system will do its best to filter them out. We only want to get active in a trend. When there's no trend, we don't want to be active. And probably areas like this would be, you don't have signals here because it's considered a flat area. So there's a chop filter in the Pro Edition. And let me go back to the website. And there's an extreme signal filter. Yes, now what that means is that it's very similar to simple pullbacks and complex pullbacks. Some people only want to trade simple pullbacks, and believe it or not, some people just want to trade complex pullbacks. With the Pro Edition, it's possible to separate these signals and just display, let's say, the complex pullbacks. Or even one more thing you can do, you can give it a different color. So for example, this can be a dark red, and this could be a bright red, or this could be green, and this could be blue. So you can separate long signals into two groups and short signals into two groups, depending on whether it's a simple pullback or complex pullback. So these are the extras that the Pro Edition will give you. All right, so getting back to the specials. Shark Week specials. Right, so $89 for the premium package. And yes, the next thing, of course, there's a Momentum Pro special, 30% off. And you only need to enter this code, Remek Shark Week 2019, in the promo code field at checkout to claim this discount. By the way, this promo code will work on all our products. So even the products I didn't talk about today, Remek products, the 30% works on them this week also. So if you're in the mood of grabbing some other products which I didn't talk about today, this week might be a good time to do that, because 30% is not something we exceed, not even at Christmas time. So that's the best price you can get all for year round on any product. Now, there's a special offer here. If you buy any Remek product this week, we give you Remek Premium free for 3 months, and that's $200-something, $60 value, 3 times 89. I think that really makes a difference. If you, let's say, just as a scenario, you buy Momentum Pro, you can try it out, by the way, free of charge for 15 days, and you can try out Remek Premium for 15 days, also free of charge. So we have a free trial in everything we sell. You're welcome to start the trial at the same time. You'll have a trial for the same 50-day period. So, but to getting back to the point, if you buy Momentum Pro, or for that matter, now I'm open about it, any product actually in the store, any Remek product, then we'll give you the Remek Premium service free of charge for 3 months. Now that 3 months alone, and I'm not exaggerating really, might give you just that transitional period where you can really nail this and learn how to use this system. I cannot guarantee anything, of course, but nobody can guarantee anything for the future. But I cannot imagine a better or a more sensible, way of bridging the gap between developing and profitability than this. start using a proven system with a proven equity curve over 3,200 trades or 1,100 trades if you go by the trades number of trades over a 1 year period. Very different market environments. Just look at the chart. Gold, the ES. So there's been sideways markets, trending markets, all kinds of stuff, presidential tweets, everything. Last thing I want to tell you before I forget, the bundles are back. So some of you have noticed the bundles were not available for a few weeks, admittedly because Shark Grease was coming up. So, but now they're back. So here are the momentum bundles, and by default, they contain a 25% discount. So if you want to buy a Remek product bundled with a Shark Indicator product, then the bundle is the way to go. And I haven't tried, but my feeling is that actually the specials will pile up. So this week, I can't imagine a better deal than buying one of the bundles plus entering the code, and then you end up with a pretty good price, but this week only. So I leave the experimentation up to you, depending on what you want, what you're looking for, but the bundles are definitely, these are the momentum bundles, which contain Shark Indicator products, and the Remek bundles, the Remek system bundles that also contain Bloodhound and or even the Renko bars and Blackbird. All right, let's keep the focus on momentum. Oh, if you so want, are by special arrangements with Shark Indicators, their products are also available in our store at the same price, for the same price. So, but by all means, you're welcome to buy them from here. If you find that, you put stuff in the cart, and because of these discounts, things are calculated advantageously for you. But strictly speaking, there are no discounts on the Shark Indicator products technically, but you can get discounts on other products in the same cart. So that's how the math works. And let me go back to the momentum product line and then go back to our thank you page. And I think, let me just see, Tony has a question. Oh, yes, Tony. Yes, our products are for one machine ID. Yes. We have some good deals on, let's see, momentum. So here, for example, okay, I need to put the mouse. You see second license at a very low price, so you can get a second license. There's a special deal for Remek Momentum owners, not the Pro edition, so there's an upgrade path. And okay, here somebody asked me about what if I already own the Remek system, then this is the deal that we can offer you. Special pricing for owners of the original Remek system, the Renko-based system. So they're all here. There's a 1-year maintenance license. As in standard practice, as you know, if you buy the product, then for 1 year you get free access to all the upgrades. After 1 year, that might be a small charge, or you can buy a maintenance license. And here are the, again, Momentum, not the Pro, just the standard edition for owners of the Remek systems, and the second license for Momentum. So whatever combination you're looking for, I'm sure you can find them here. Remember, when you put things in the cart this week and you enter the code, there will be discounts calculated for you, so make sure you do that. And also check out the bundles for 25% off without any code. So thank you very much. If there's any questions, please, or if I left out something by any chance, please ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. And I would also just mention it again, please visit our blog later on today, remek.ca/blog. And I'll put the link up for tomorrow's 9:30 technically focused webinar on Momentum Pro. So thank you very much again, and back to you, Keith.
Great, thanks, Ferenc. Really appreciate you coming in. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Sounds like if you're doing some of the math here, it sounds like he's got some really good deals. If you're in the market for Bloodhound and Blackbird, a lot of you already have at least one of those, but I did some back of the napkin math on at least one of his bundles, and that's, especially compared to our regular prices with the bundle, you're getting a really good price if you're planning on getting all that stuff. So take a look at what he has to offer. And as you can see, he has a lot of stuff on his website. So make sure to reach out to Ference if you're looking for something in particular. My experience is he's always been really great to work with. We always get really great feedback from his current customers. I don't think I've ever met someone who doesn't like Ference, doesn't like working with him. So yeah, well, I appreciate you coming in. Obviously, this Shark Week and these events are here to introduce you to new trading ideas and new tools that are potentially useful for you. So whatever sort of grabs your attention, that's why we're here to kind of show that stuff off to you. Let me bring up the thing that I've been bringing up at the end each day. Oh, where'd it go? Here we go. So as you know, we've got 2 more events tomorrow coming up for Shark Week. Will and Julie, both of them, I don't think we've ever had either of them for Shark Week. I think they're both Shark Week newbies. So both, great in their own rights. Definitely, you might find something very useful in what they have to say. So as the last couple days, it's noon Eastern and 4:30 Eastern. And just like Ference said, if you're interested in learning more about what he's doing, the more technical kind of deep dive, more casual session that you're interested in his stuff, join him at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow morning. If you like what he's been talking about today, I'm sure you'll get that much more tomorrow. Okay, so I'll leave this open a few more seconds if anyone has any further questions. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow bright and early. Any further questions? Let me bring up my chat. Ference, looks like there's at least one other question that came in. Go ahead and take a look at that.
Yes, so how does the monthly subscription work with the bundle? Well, the monthly subscription to Remek Premium is independent from the bundles. It's a monthly charge as opposed to the bundle product, which is a one-time charge. But the deal is if you buy anything, and that includes the bundles, obviously, you will get 3 months free for Remek Premium. After 3 months, I will bring back the $89 price. So the best possible price that there is. It will never go lower than that. So for those people who buy something and they take advantage of the 3 months free, they can continue with Remek Premium on the $89 price. How many trades per week? Well, so 1,100 trades over a year, that's about 2-point-something trade per day. So if I scroll back here, let me see. We had some stats here.
And if you want, I'm not sure if you're trying to show your screen, but I took over. So
oh, I'm sorry. Then, okay. Let me see.
And if I understand correctly, so there's 2 different products, right? So you have the subscription, which provides, it's more of like an educational service, providing information about the trades that you're taking live, the information that's sort of, that you're working on now, which you're a proven educator. People kind of like you for that type of information. So that's one product, that's your subscription. And then the bundle is actually your software product, your actual, they're totally separate products. But by buying the software, you get a long trial of the subscription service. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And by bundle, just to make it clear, by bundle we mean products, Remek's products with Shark Indicators products. So, but bundle is anything more than one product is a bundle. But in the bundles, there are no services. So I'm sorry if I was misunderstood. When I say bundle, I always mean products. Whether usually most of the time, if I just go to the store, the product page, the bundles, if I click on bundles, these are Momentum, Remek products, Remek Momentum, plus some product from Shark Indicators. So those are the bundles. And there's a 25% bundle price or a discount built in already, and that will be, and whatever is going on this year will be added to it.
And this is
I
a great
wonder.
resource for people who, everybody in here are at different stages. A lot of people already own Bloodhound, and so you give them the option to make the most out of it by offering your own products that take advantage of Bloodhound and Blackbird. And then there's people in here who have never heard of either one, and they can get that bundle. And like
Yes,
I said, doing the math, those bundles are pretty good price if you need Bloodhound and Blackbird as well. So
yes. Let me just say one last thing. Uh, to use Remek Premium, technically, it's not necessary to. It's not. No product is required. So, as you see, this is a typical Remek Premium chart that goes for all. You could be on TradeStation or something else. It doesn't matter. A chart is a chart. So I designed Remek Premium in such a way that you can be on anything. You don't have to buy my product to take advantage of this educational resource, because a tick chart or a 50-minute chart on the ES will look like this anywhere. I have a Keltner that's included in any package you want. I'm not saying we should leave NinjaTrader behind, that by all means, but what I'm saying is that it's done in such a generic way that's focused on the trade, on the price action, and we make money by price moving, hopefully in our direction, in a probabilistic environment, as we know. So there's nothing on this chart, only a Keltner channel. That's as simple as it gets. I just wanted to add to it. So it's quite possible to use Remek Premium by itself without using anything else, or even on being on any platform you want to be, and find it very useful. Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Let me see. A trial on the Pro Renko charts. Bar, I think, Gabriel, you meant bars. The Pro Renko bar is a product by Shark Indicators. And on my website, there is no trial, but on Shark Indicators, and Keith will confirm this, I think, there is 15 or 30-day trial, Keith,
yes,
for
we've
the bar
extended it to
types.
30 days. I don't think you'll need 30 days to trial a bar type, but it is there for you. You can go on our website, sharkindicators.com, under the support menu, download installer. And if you get lost, just contact us. But our trial includes a trial of all of our products at the same time. So
Thank you. Okay, let me go back to the specials page and see if there's any other questions. Three months of free premium for existing customers as well. No, not really. No, if you're an existing customer, either you've bought something in the past, or you are maybe a customer in the Remek Premium already, then sorry, you're not. No, this offer this week goes for people who are buying something now.
now you do offer a short trial for anybody. Is that right? Or
Yes.
how does
Oh,
that work?
obviously. Yes. As I said, oh, yeah, maybe I should say it again. So there's a 15-day trial for premium, free trial. Technically, I must say you must enter your credit card number, but please believe me, you will not be charged in the first 15 days, or you're welcome to cancel anytime. So you can run the service for 14 days and then cancel, no questions asked. It's all automated. You open the account, you close or cancel your own account, so you don't even have to contact me. You can use premium for 15 days free of charge. The same with any of our products. Remek Momentum Pro comes, you can download it and you can use it 15 days for 15 days free of charge. Just to round out my answer to Bill about these existing customers, I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but if, Bill, you happen to be an existing customer, but you buy something new this week again, then you would get the 3 months free. So as long as you buy something new this week, a product, then of course you'd get the 3 months free in Remek Premium. So I hope that answers that. Okay, is there anything else I forgot? I'm sorry. Any other questions, or maybe
Michael is asking, what are the hours of the screen share? As for screen share, I assume he's talking about your subscription where you email out screenshots of the trades.
Yes.
Do you trade during specific hours each day?
Yes. Well, I reserve the right to email it out anytime. So, but it is my purpose. So you can imagine this, depending on market conditions, sometimes literally there's like 7 JPEGs a day. Sometimes there are 2. It depends on what the market gives us. And I need to reserve the right to be able to send this out any time of the day. So if it's at 3 a.m. on the European Open, and there's something I see, then you might get an email. If you want to use this service, I think what is sensible is to put all these premium emails in a separate section of your inbox, so doesn't interfere with other things that business that you conduct during the day. So these are by no means meant to be spam. Actually, they're the ones that bring the money in, hopefully. But it's quite okay to separate them and maybe just look at them. Although they come in a timely fashion. So when they're here, they come to you because there's something to be done. So maybe an hour later, that opportunity may not be there anymore. So I do advise you that you look at it when it comes in. And but by all means, if it's just for educational purposes and perhaps you have a job, then it's very okay to look at it, let's say once a day, and just to see what the service did today and what would have happened, what happened after those signals were sent out. So, how successful is this guy doing what he's doing? How useful are these signals, in other words? But to be more precise, usually, though, they don't come out at 3 a.m. North American time. Usually I do my analysis in the evening. So between 7 and 9 p.m., you might find something if something moves. Otherwise, usually it's around 7-ish in the morning, Eastern time, between 7 and 8. If nothing happens, I will not bother you with emails. But if I do see something, and especially if I myself do something, then that's the purpose of that's the essence of the service, to share it with you. And there's always a comment. It's not just the JPEG. The JPEGs speak for themselves, but there's always a comment as to what to do. So you're never left out in the dark. And if there's anything unclear, if you write to me, I'm at the machine, I would write to you back in 2 minutes. Okay. Anything else, guys? I'm happy to stay on, but I don't want to take advantage of your time. Any other questions or issues that we haven't addressed by any chance?
If we didn't address anything, I assume, Ferenc, you're totally welcoming to any questions to that support@remek.ca or ferenc@remek.ca. Which do you prefer? You've got 2 email addresses.
Oh, either of them. It goes to the same place. I get them in a second. And by all means, please write to me, and I'll be happy to answer you tonight or tomorrow, anytime. We're open all the time.
Yeah, it's the nature of webinars. There's always at least one question that we miss. So take advantage of that email service. Oh, there is a question from Bill. Did you get that last one a minute ago?
So Bill is asking, purchase this week any products, including second licenses for a 3 months premium. Yes, I said what I said, and I keep myself to it, Bill. So if you buy anything from the store, you'll get the 3 months free.
Great offer. All right. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and close this out. Once again, guys, really appreciate you coming in. Come back in tomorrow for those 2 fresh-eyed newcomers. They've been around for a while, but they're the first time in Shark Week. So look forward to that. But yeah, any last words, Ferenc?
Thank you, Keith, for the invitation. And thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, for attending. It's been a great pleasure to be here. And I'm looking forward to the other presenters of the week and the rest of Shark Week 2019. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Have a great night. Bye.